In a crowded market with compact SUVs, especially when you're looking for a sporty or a blend with luxury, it's really hard to capture all of that in one. Today, Daniel has given us a 2022 Nissan Murano Platinum Edition magnetic black front wheel drive here at Moss Nissan in Newport Richey. What's new for this compact SUV? The Midnight Edition is going to receive blacked out wheels. You're going to get black accents throughout the exterior. On the inside, Nissan keeps the luxury, loads of tech and safety feature. When you're comparing compact SUVs, is this better than a Honda Passport or the Jeep Grand Cherokee? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. We're going to go over all the specs and details starting now. Starts with a more round, sporty exterior, and it's definitely going to set a different appearance. When you're comparing it to the Honda Passport, this is going to look a little bit more sporty. Because we got the platinum trim, you're going to get LED headlamps, daytime running, and your fog lamp aesthetics. You're going to get the chrome trim right over here. And the best part about this, the ground clearance is still at 6.9 inches, so you can go over pretty much any terrain you want. Compact SUV, you don't have to worry about the speed bumps. V-Motion grille outlined with black with the honeycomb in between it. The height at 67.8 inches, and it's not the widest, but around 75.4 inches. Does need a little bit of a redesign, but it still gives a sporty flair even onto the hood, and how these headlamps goes into the quarter panel. You got the matte black that's going to surround these new 20-inch multi-spoke black alloy wheels. The disc behind it at 12.6 inches and 12.1 inches in the rear. Brake limited actuated limited slip differential. Multi-link is going to be your rear suspension. Strut front suspension, both the front and the rear will have your coil springs and your anti-roll bars. When you're comparing the styling cues, they keep and continue all of that playfulness with the chrome that's going to surround all the windows, and then it just tapers in to your rear tail lights. So I do like that. On the lower trim, you're going to get the chrome that's going to start, and it ends pretty much right in the middle of the rear door. So very sporty design, in the way the aerodynamic line proportions is. I do like this one a little bit better than the Honda Passport because this looks a lot more sporty on the exterior. Comparing it to the Jeep Grand Cherokee, this is going to be more bubbly instead of a more traditional box-shaped SUV. You're going to have a length at 192.8 inches, the wheelbase at 111.2 inches. The roof rail will be with that silver around it. You're going to have the shark fin antenna, a lower spoiler with your wraparound LED tail lamps, and that roundness continues, especially when you're looking at the rear window. The chrome trim that's going to surround more of that matte black with your rear parking sensors. We do have a 360-degree camera because this is the platinum tier. Towing, unfortunately, around 1,500 pounds. So if you're comparing it to the Lexus 350 RX, it's going to be a little bit less. However, a little bit more playful in this particular vehicle. Dual exhaust outlets, so I do like that because it just keeps that sporty heritage, and that's what you want. The mixture of luxury, which you're going to see on the interior spec. You do have the wave to go inside to your cargo, or you could just push the power cargo going inside to 37 cubic feet. There is a 12-volt charger with your spare tire. The rear bench split folds at a 40-60 split. That's going to max the cargo to 65 cubic feet. The Nissan Murano will be the least in horsepower when you're comparing it to the Jeep Grand Cherokee or the Honda Passport, but Nissan does back the performance with a 3.5-liter V6 producing 260 horsepower and 240 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to an electronic CVT transmission achieving 20 to 28 mpgs, the 0 to 60 around 7.3 to 7.5 seconds, a quarter mile at 15.7 to 16 seconds flat. Top speed, 120 miles per hour. The sporty styling is on all four corners. The luxury is going to be on the inside. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Nissan Murano Platinum Edition. As we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Nissan Murano, You're going to receive 38.1 inches of headroom, 40.5 inches of legroom, soft quilted black leather bucket front seats. They're going to have heated, ventilated, 10-way power adjustment for the driver, 8-way power adjustment for the passenger with the contrast stitching, and I do like the setup with a flat dash, more of a modern spin slash luxury with the wood inlays to contrast. You're going to get the silver that's going to encase all of your air vents, so I do like how it gives a little bit of that sporty heritage. More soft materials are going to be on the driver's side. The rest is going to be more firm. Elbows are going to be super soft with the wood inlays in between here. You're going to have an 8-inch HD color display. This has your navigation. You do not have pinch, but you can kind of sort of swipe it, as you can see. Click into your menu button, and that way you can see all the features in which we have in this vehicle. We have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, Bluetooth connectivity, HD radio, FM, and AM. Switch it to reverse, you got full trajectory, you can see the lines. You can also put it when you go forward by hitting the camera, and you have the trajectory in the front. So I do like the fact that you still have most of the new specs that would be in all the 2022s that are refreshed. As for the steering wheel, leather wrapped, it's heated, multi-function, it's a soft leather as well. Looking at the gauge cluster, you're going to have that new 7-inch display that can go through an array of things from your navigation to your audio, your driver compute. You can see everything, even sign recognition. Safety is also a key with this. You got the blind spot monitoring right here inside, upgraded 11-speaker Bose premium sound system. The gloss black cover the infotainment and your dual climate control settings. You're going to have the wood inlays here. You can fit a 16.9-ounce water bottle without any issues. I'd say a 20 ounces max. A little cubby here for storage. And I do like the wood inlays. It does give a nice luxury. Open up inside here. You got a couple of trays, pretty deep storage as well. As for the door panel, you're going to get soft materials with a mixture of hard materials. One touch up and down for the dual pane windows that are on the front. You're going to get your memory seats for the driver. Your storage is only going to be able to fit maybe 2 or 3 16.9-ounce water bottles. But the nice thing, you got a large panoramic moonroof that goes all the way to the back seat. Let's see how I look back there. For the back seat, I'm at 37.8 inches of headroom, 38.7 inches of legroom. I can fit without any issues. Storage behind both of the front seats and a little cubby here as well. You're going to have heated rear seats. A USB-A and USB-C is in the rear as well. It's going to lack a little bit in charging ports if you're going to fit 3 back here. You got your central air vents. Elbows are going to be nice and soft. You can recline these seats too. You just got to find the lever, which takes a few seconds. And here we go. They recline pretty good. And I mean, it reclines really far back actually. And then easy to recline it back more or less. And it sits you more at like a maybe 90-degree angle, give or take, but it is comfortable. Cup holders, you can fit a 16.9-ounce water bottle. I'd say a 20 ounces max. Another little storage. Door panel, you're going to get soft with harder material mix, that wood inlays, contrast stitching in 2 different colors. Storage, though, is going to lack in the rear. You could maybe fit one 16.9-ounce water bottle. It's going to be tough. You're going to have to drink some of it. But, I mean, it's still doable for the back seat. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, headroom is not an issue. Legroom is okay. I'm not really grazing the back of the front seats in the position I'd be sitting. As for cup holders, I've had to put my 16.9-ounce water bottle sideways because we have a lack of storage. I'm blocking the central air vents, your heated seats, and the charging ports because I'm pretty much on top of them. The floor is kind of sort of flat. It's not 100%, but the seats are pretty wide, so you will share a little bit of your butt and shoulder space. But for the most part, you can fit back here. What I would recommend, though, is if you are doing it, to maybe recline these seats, and you just got to find your happy medium. When you do that, though, unless you recline both, because it's a 40-60 split, you're going to sit kind of like this instead of like this. Going back to that comparison for Honda and Jeep, you're going to have a little bit more storage capacity in the back, and it's going to feel a little bit more room back here as well. Taking the 2022 Nissan Murano Platinum Edition out for our car review. CVT transmission, it is something that everybody complains about, but when you're going on a long journey, it actually will be super smooth. Going over anything, you're going to feel it at low speeds, but when you go on a faster ride, it's going to soak it up pretty good. The suspension does hold itself. It's a little bit more firm on slower speeds though. So going over speed bumps, you're gonna feel a little bit of the bumps. The seat comfort though is good. And I like the fact that it's not so widened, so it actually feels like it fits you very well. The interior, I like the symmetrical look that they're doing because everything looks like it's in place where it should be. As for the speed in the vehicle, 260 horsepower, I mean, it's gonna get you to point A to point B pretty fast. And whenever you push the gas, it's gonna do what it needs to do. Now you will hear that exhaust note. It's not necessarily unpleasant, but it's gonna hear a little bit more winding noise because of that CVT transmission. So it is something to not necessarily be upset about, but anything over 2 RPMs, you're going to hear it pretty loudly. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty quiet. As for interior noise, you do hear a pretty good amount of it, even at lower speeds around 30, 35, even 40 miles per hour. You're going to hear it through the windscreen. Dual pane windows in the front, it does kind of sort of filter out pretty good, but you hear a substantial amount through the actual wheel wells as well. So because of these areas, it's, again, they're stressing luxury and sport. So that's why I'm really talking about these things in a little bit of a deal. As for the width, it does feel a little bit wider in the interior. From the exterior styling, you would think this car isn't so wide, but when you look inside, it looks as if it's ages away from the passenger next to me. And in an aspect that's good because now you do have sufficient room for everybody to fit in cargo. Storage, it does lack in that department. As for the visibility at nighttime, when you put your lower beams on, it's not going to be as bright. High beams is pretty good. It does a good job with that. And sit wise, you do sit up, even though the ground clearance isn't 7 inches, it still feels like it's more towards the 7 or 8 inches. So that is pretty good for the ride height. Now there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like about it is the materials you get on the seat and the steering wheel, very comfortable. The leather feels very soft, the quilted textures, and you feel the AC seats very good. I do like that. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is you do sit higher up, even though the ground clearance isn't so much and the car isn't so tall. So it does feel a little bit more higher in ability to see whenever you're in traffic congestion. You can almost see over pretty good amount of vehicles. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is the sporty styling elements that they do on the exterior. It's very fun and playful. I like how they did the chrome and they just made it like a script. So that is very unique, especially when you're going against Honda or Jeep. This one does stand out a little bit more sport derived, not performance derived. Luxury wise, pretty spot on with Grand Cherokee. I would say Honda would be underneath that. 3 things that I dislike about the vehicle is it is not that much performance. The vehicle is around 4,000 pound curb weight. And when you get to those levels, I would have liked to see 300 horsepower or something that would match at least the Grand Cherokee, because when you are competing against them, they even offer a Hemi. So when you get to that level, it would blow this one out of the water performance-wise. The second thing that I dislike is you do not have the updated tech, so you can't do a pinch, you can't do a swipe. It's the older technology. The screen quality is good, as you're seeing in the camera and through the interior review, and I do like that they put the gloss black around it because it keeps that luxury heritage. However, it's just not the updated tech. The last thing that I dislike about the vehicle is if they added a transmission other than a CVT, the vehicle would be over a second quicker. They did it with the Nissan Pathfinder, and it's a substantial difference. And what I mean by that, I'm gonna actually try to show you right now. So we're gonna stop in the middle of the road. And this is with the CVT transmission. If it was a regular transmission, a lot faster it would be. And you can hear that it really holds the revs. It doesn't want to change the gears whenever you're doing it, whereas when you're with a regular transmission, you can actually change the gears, be more engaged, and it's a little bit more playful. I'm gonna check the turn radius at more or less a stop point. You're going to be getting about 2.5 lanes, give or take, giving it some gas, 240 pound-feet of torque. This is what you get. A very throaty V6 note. Show you those brakes. Pretty much stops on a dime is what you need. It's not Brembo spec, anything like that. Another thing about this particular vehicle is it does lack in the cargo space for the back seats. When you get into Jeep or Honda, I think they do a little bit better job with that, but the comfort in this one is pretty luxury. I would say it's pretty spot on with the Jeep Grand Cherokee. Honda is going to be a little bit underneath it. As for the maneuverability, it's going to be boaty, but you're not really going to expect that. Got the blind spot monitoring. It is going to be a little bit more of a wider vehicle, but the hood really gives you that indication that it is. Lengthwise, I mean, you could pretty much see all the way to the cargo area. The window is a little bit smaller and sleek, but it's still doable, and everything is viewable because the windows are pretty large, except for that little window in the back. Red light, green light, 260 horsepower, mid 7 seconds, 0 to 60. Here we go, and can it do it? I can say it does. I mean, you're going to be spot on with the traffic. And going on a long journey, like I already said, it's going to be comfortable. It's a little bit noisy, but it's pretty much spot on with the Jeep Grand Cherokee. I think hand in hand, it's definitely a good alternative to the Jeep Grand Cherokee. It does beat the Honda Passport. I like the Honda Passport, it's just this one has a little bit more of a playful luxury blend. It does need a little bit more cargo or storage capacity, but for the most part, Nissan did a great job. I'd like to thank Daniel here at Moss Nissan for giving us this 2022 Nissan Murano for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button, check out the details, the merchandise, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.